Dear friends, today I'm going to show you few things about interior design. I know that the most important difficult thing to do when we draw a dashboard is the steering wheel, because the steering wheel is an ellipse in perspective that is not respecting the same rules of when we apply wheels on the exterior of the cars. It's not going to the vanishing points, to the opposite vanishing points, the same way we do an exterior car. On a dashboard, it's completely different. And therefore, sometimes a lot of people that start drawing interiors get it wrong. Okay, so I'll make you few examples, okay? So we have a top view of a dashboard like this, okay? For example. And then we have a change of the section in the center like this. Then it comes down. And then here we have our A-pillar and our door panel. Okay? That's the triangle of the rear view mirror or the camera. And here we have the same thing on the other side. Okay? So this is a basic, very basic perspective, very much used by interior designers to explore sections. In a top view, we can see also the top section, how they are going around, to make a nice dashboard. And here with this, we basically have two levels. The first one that is on top and the second one that is down, like a little step. And this usually, for example, new BMWs are done like that. This is the area where we put our entertainment displays, okay? So the display is this one, that's the section. So it's posed on top of this second step here. And in the back, we have the main body of the dashboard. So in this area, of course, if this is the center line, okay, Y0 center line, as you like to call it, we have a passenger and driver. Okay, so let's suppose that here I have a central console that is like those modern ones, okay? It goes underneath, under our dashboard. Here we can have, I don't know, sort of rotor for selection, okay? To select everything we need to select so that we don't touch all the time the screen. Here we can have a cut line. And then we can have, of course, arrangement box in this area. Okay? So let me sketch this a little bit better. And then here it goes down, and if I have to make the section, it would be like this. All right, so in this area here, basically in this area here, I make the little opening. We have the steering wheel area. So look what happens. The steering wheel is gonna be here. Now, if I make my square in which goes the circle, you can see that my steering wheel, it's an ellipse, and the perspective, it's this one, because it's following this perspective, like my center console. You see, all the lines go to the right vanishing point. That is very far, somewhere there. And then the other vanishing point, let's make a little bit of the seat. That's the door panel. The other vanishing point is going over there. So in this context, if I take this is my square in perspective, and there is another very important thing that you have to understand, is that my steering wheel is tilted, okay? Because when you drive your car, you see that your steering wheel is not straight like that. It's always tilted because it's oriented to the eyes and to the face of the driver. It's for ergonomics. So remember, the steering wheel has a tilted angle. You see? And this is in every perspective. And okay, I did this by eye, of course, but if this is the vertical line, you see, this is the angle of the tilting angle of my steering wheel. This is the axe of steering wheel, okay? This one. So I take a blue marker and I draw my steering wheel. Now I can, of course, I can do more. I do the branches, Here we will put the logo with the front airbag here. And the steering wheel will be this one. Now I can put shadow here. And shadow here. A little shadow there, here, and a little bit down here. Because the light, it's always coming from here. This is the light. All right? So, this is one example, all right? Now, let me take another marker to make the dark outline here. That's the section of my door panel. And this is the section of my dashboard. So here we have that area which is the step, first floor, second floor. And here we can put, for example, the area where the air comes out to defrost our windshield. In this area we would have the air vents, one here, other one in the center, and the other one for the hand of the driver in this area. All right, then here we have our central console. All right, so this is the explanation of the rule, how you can place a steering wheel. Remember that the steering wheel is a circle, it goes into a square. So when you are in perspective, you have that square in perspective with its tilted angle, so that you know what type of ellipse, how the ellipse will come out if you use the square box, as a tool to help you, especially if you are a beginner. So now let's make, I will use a pencil in this case, which is better. Let's make another sketch. All right, where did I take my pencil? I choose the right one. There you go. So now there are some other views, like for example, this is from the window, the driver window, okay? And the door is open, the door is here. So this is the perspective. You see? And here, in this area, basically, I have my dashboard. Now, if we take this one as an example, I put it in front of me, I can imagine the dashboard that is doing this. That's the main center section. So I go from here and I start building up the same dashboard. So now let's come directly to the steering wheel, which is in this area. This is, all the mechanic goes in there. So if this is the perspective, I have to draw here with this angle. You see the angle compared to the vertical? I have to draw my square. You have to guess the right proportions, of course. It's gonna be more or less like that. There you go. You see? With this perspective. Now let's try another one. It's a sort of one-point perspective, This is a view that is very often used by designers that do interior design. We have always our door that is basically here, open. That's the door that is closed on the other side. See, that's the A pillar, B pillar. So my steering wheel this time it's gonna be here, because here we have the seat. With this angle. And here we have the other one. The seat is here with the you see? So always we have that angle, okay? That angle compared to the vertical. And let's make our square with that angle. You see my square? Is this one. But now this one is too much attached to the steering wheel, so we have to bring it a little bit outside. there you have your steering wheel. In this case, as you can see, the minor axe, it's going to this vanishing point. This is our, door panel. And on the side here, we see a little bit of the end of our dashboard. So if I take my color, that's the minor axe of our ellipse. This is the ellipse that is going to this vanishing point. This is 1 point perspective. This point here. Remember the angle once again. Tilted angle. All right, the last one is sort of a top view with our central console here. Our 2 seats that are more or less in this area. So the steering wheel will be in the axe of the driver's seat, and it's going to be in that area there. You see? So let's first put our display. Remember the display? That's our display. So how we are going to apply the steering wheel in this view? It's a tilted view, okay? Just to give you a better example, this is a straight top view. It's going to be slightly like that, okay? So that we can see the dashboard, but from a top view. Then, again, I put my square and I draw my ellipse inside. So the minor axe, it's exactly straight, perpendicular, parallel to the center line. Center line. This one. All right? Okay, so we went through few perspectives about how to draw a steering wheel on an interior sketch. All right? I hope that this exercise has been useful to you. Thank you.